I can't do two things at once because I'm a dude.
You're very
Aware of that limitation.
left brain or right brain or whatever, the one that makes it so that you're,
Yes.
I don't know, something.
Yes, exactly. All right, we're live on YouTube.
Hi, YouTube. All right, commence scrolling on Twitter while we
I mean, did that ever stop though?
well, I switched rooms into my office, so that was cool.
Shiny 1Password for SSH and Git was posted in the HangOps general channel.
1Password for Git?
I don't know what this is. 1Password for SSH and Git beta, single source of truth for all your SSH keys. Oh, okay. And then you use 1Password SSH agent.
I did not know that there was an SSH agent for 1Password.
Apparently this is new. I've been using LastPass for a while because we used it at Chef, and my wife was using LastPass, so it was easier for me to convert all of my stuff over to LastPass than for her to convert over to 1Password and also pay for 1Password, because I think she was on a free plan with 1Password for a long time. Or no, she used it for business purposes, so she expensed it.
I'm using the classic notepad document on my desktop. And suddenly all of my InfoSec friends just went, huh. I don't know why, but
Well, your hard drive has full disk encryption.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, well. Scott, come on.
It's Windows. It's like if I turn on a BitLocker, it'll immediately, like, the next day crash. I'll have to take it and put it in another machine and nothing will work. Not that I've ever had that happen before. Did you actually tweet on the intertweets about HangOps?
I tweeted a bit ago. Yeah, I'll tweet again.
I was gonna retweet it.
Yeah, Pete and retweet were in Twitter.
That's a statement. Or did Twitter go and say the things again? You did not tweet this today. How dare you?
I did.
Not from the HangOps account.
I did like an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
And I just tweeted now.
That's true. You did. I just can't read Twitter.
It's fine. This. What?
Yeah.
Oh, there. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, we a positive thing.
Yeah.
Is one of my dear friends who worked at a company that we won't name because there's really no positive aspects of talking about them.
Yes, of course.
They were wrongfully laid off or fired, I should say, not laid off, fired because of the disability policy, or the go to office policy, and they have disability. And I think we've talked about, you know who this is. So.
I know who this is, yes.
Yeah. So they just got a contract, and they start Monday.
Yeah,
180 day contract.
that's dope.
So good for them.
JJ,
Hey,
Well, hello,
what is
gentlemen.
going on?
well, if
How
it
you
isn't
doing?
Mr. Awesome himself.
Yes. How are y'all?
Good. I'm highly amused that you joined because I was talking to Scott earlier, and I went into ADP, which my current employer doesn't use, but
Mhm.
our collective previous employer did. I went in there and I was poking around, and I saw that they have an org chart thing, and I saw an org chart that you're on under a VP of engineering that left long ago.
Yes, a certain CA, if that makes it
Ah,
any
yes.
more. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Basic.
and it was really interesting because it was like that person and you, and then one other person who with the initials JS who had like 30 reports.
Yeah.
And you know who that is as well. But it was,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was like, that's a weird slice of time,
Yeah.
especially because I wasn't on there either.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And somebody that Scott had hired
Yeah,
was on there, but Scott wasn't on that team. But Scott was on that team. It was like a snapshot of like a 2-week window when
Yep,
the team was
that's-
created. This person was hired before Scott moved over.
Oh, that's
Reorgs are
amazing.
so funny.
That's so great. So
And that's the org chart that's in ADP.
and it's just stuck in time. Never
Yeah,
gonna
and
change.
today I learned ADP has org charts.
Oh, that's good.
I guess it was yesterday, but whatever.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Oh, that's good
I'm
stuff.
trying to figure out why that stuff is going through payroll instead of through the escrow company.
Yes, that
For
is
me.
a weird.
For me,
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else. Like for me, I think it's because I was a current employee when that was all happening.
Mm. Yeah. There's
But
been some weirdness with all of that stuff, and
yeah,
I mean, I have to admit, it is an excuse for us to continue talking as a cohort,
Mhm.
like of all as part of the extended family. It's kind of
Mhm.
cute and fun,
Mhm.
but it's funny that it's still going,
right?
right?
Like this
Oh, yeah.
ongoing saga of
It
like
is.
it's the first time I've ever been a part of an acquisition.
Mhm.
So it was all a very new learning experience for me.
And you all in my opinion, got it a lot easier than I did because I left before
Mhm.
said acquisition. And so
Yeah.
you had all the paperwork and people you could talk to about it.
Mhm.
I had that giant, like fat stack of things that they mailed us. And I'm like, I have no idea what the F I'm supposed to do with this. How do I get my
Yeah.
money?
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
I
That's
still have not got my money.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
hey, you got some kindling out of it, right? That's big
Yeah.
stack of
Oh,
paper.
that's that. Yeah, because we also got the PDF. I don't know if you got a
Mhm.
PDF, but I got a PDF
did.
and the stack. It is like this big because it's over there on my pile of old paperwork
Mhm.
table.
Table. Yep. Well, as you might be able to tell, I am not at my normal place I'm sitting.
I thought
From
that was
the
a virtual
picture.
background.
Oh, funny. Yeah, no, it's actually my kitchen. It's actually my
Okay.
kitchen. Yeah, I've got a new floors put into my house.
Oh, very
and,
cool.
I got kicked out of my office because one of the office we got a dog, and it's either the carpet stays or the dog stays.
And the dog is way cuter than the carpet.
So far, at least so far, depends on the day. Depends on the day.
It's true.
Um,
It's true.
Uh,
How old is
so,
the dog?
he's just about a year and a half.
Okay, so still
Um,
puppy like.
Puppy like, yeah, he's super energetic.
Oh yeah.
And,
It's not
yeah,
a husky, is it?
No, he's a mutt.
Oh, okay.
He's a straight up mutt, and that's actually
Nice.
one of the best parts about him.
Mhm.
Because he's a perfect representation of my family. Like, he's such a mutt and then my family is just so like from everywhere that, like, you look at the dog and you look at us and you're like, yep, that's the Asgard's
Fitting.
dog. Yep,
Yep.
it makes sense. It makes
Yep.
sense.
Excellent.
Yeah. But actually, I did was seeing that you'll hopped on the Zoom. I do actually wanted to pick your brain about something.
Oh, sure.
And something technology related, because we've all
just a reminder that we are live on YouTube. So
yep, that's fine. Yeah,
all the people currently, one person watching. Hi, person that's watching.
We love you.
Yeah, you can come join us or not.
Yeah.
It's cool. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, it's so. Oh, here we go.
Here's Joe.
Oh,
hey,
perfect,
Joe. All right.
Hey, all.
Joshua, is it you actually watching?
Yeah. Oh,
on the YouTube? Would it count? Would it count you?
Oh, well, I think we lost him.
I don't know. I mean, I do have it open. It might be me. I don't know.
That'd be amazing.
Like I have the window, because when you go Zoom live to YouTube, then it opens up, and then you got to click through to select the right account, and then it shows the stream. So
can you see the chat in Zoom, or do you have to have the YouTube open to see the chat inside of there?
I
have to have the YouTube open to see the chat.
I don't know how
the YouTube chat. There is no cross chat. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how YouTube chat works. I also don't know how Twitch chat works either.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're just bumping their own numbers, making sure that you have the YouTube open to see the chat. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, you wanted to pick my brain about something.
Yes.
I'm happy to help out if I can.
So believe it or not, there was a piece of software that I think we all used at some point. It's called Travis CI.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember this thing?
Yeah.
You know. Still,
I had a little hat, and mustache.
Yeah, mustache. Well, believe it or not, the company I work for at the moment still uses it. Which is,
the company you work for is a large organization that probably uses everything.
That's good. That is a valid point. That is a valid point. We do use quite a few things.
Yeah, anyway.
But so I hit a weird snag today, and I don't want to have to do this, so I want to hear from y'all. That I'm crazy and I don't go down this path. So there's a credit scheme inside of Travis now, where you have to have N number of credits to run on for open source software or for enterprise software. Well, open source, they give you N number of credits. I have not been able to find a way to monitor how many credits I have left, apart from going into the website. And I don't want to have to write some beautiful soup and to like scrape it like on a daily basis to figure out how many credits we have left. Have you all thought of, first of all, have you crossed this path before? Do you know of anything out there that could help me with this?
I don't. I haven't actually used Travis since Matthias Meyer was there.
Oh, okay.
I want to
right after Brandon.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since I've used Travis. So my familiarity is that it uses YAML to configure your builds.
Yep.
That's
still the truth. Still the truth.
I mean, we use YAML. Everybody uses YAML for everything now. So
I don't.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, exactly. It just exports out to YAML somewhere.
Scott, we know that that you have that notepad file that has YAML. You
yeah,
that's
true.
YAML.
And actually, one of the things that we do does turn things into YAML and then back. Or no. Actually, we skip the YAML part and go directly to JSON.
Nice.
From what I remember, there is a. I'm just looking it up right now because I don't want to give you bad information.
And it's recorded on the internet for all times.
Nope.
Oh,
let's stop.
Now it is.
It was.
I tried to close the chat. Oh,
bye, JJ.
You must have hit the. Oh, this is being recorded. Let's get out of here.
That's funny because I was just about to give him information that might help.
Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Did you click the button that says, "Oh, this is being recorded," and then you probably hit enter as you're typing something, and then it closed Zoom.
Kicked me out.
Yeah,
you don't want to be here. I'm like, yes, I do.
the hotkey sequence that I pressed did not do the thing I thought it was going to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at the Travis API, there is a credits calculator endpoint.
Oh,
Thank
which
you.
I do not know if that will do what you need. It probably won't, because it's, you know how APIs are, where you're like, oh, dope, that's exactly what I need. And then you actually start using it, and it's like, this is a JSON blob that it gives back to you that has nothing that I need.
But it's
But
somewhere
it's-
to start. Somewhere
But
to
it's
start.
very interesting.
My favorite
Um,
is when the JSON comes back and it's got a bunch of base 64 encoded fields,
Nice.
and it's like,
Mhm.
sweet.
yeah. Now you get
Thanks.
to base 64 decode the key and the value on every single thing. And I've totally written that program because I too have used Kubernetes secrets.
I've written that before too. Yeah,
I think we all have.
Yep.
just
No,
a
I-
lot.
I do love how the website you sent me. It says type unknown, documentation missing. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But no, I think that Scott, thank you, Mr. Hain, always coming in hot with exactly what I need to
Yeah.
go to get to the next step. That's
I'm-
great. Thank you.
I am good at Googling,
Yeah.
although I did have like an inkling in my brain. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thought of it.
Are
But
you
yeah,
a principal Google engineer?
no, I don't work there.
No. That doesn't imply
that-
that you work there. It's
That was the joke. I wonder if you could
sorry, I
get a
couldn't find
job.
that joke.
I wonder if you could find a job. I'll kind of cut you off. My apologies. I wonder if you could get a job at Google being really good at Googling things. I wonder if that's a job at Google.
Called a sysadmin.
Hmm.
I'm
Mm.
gonna
Touche.
die on that hill. Super gonna die on that hill.
Yep.
What if we called it SRE
Hey,
or SGE?
SG.
I'll
Well,
be
SRE
here-
would be senior regex engineer.
Nice.
Oh, I'm already that.
My dirty secret is that I'm actually bad at regex. I've never written anything more complicated than about 12 characters of regex.
Yeah, because otherwise, that way lies madness.
Well,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, I have the book.
Oh, the
Just gonna-
original O'Reilly one?
I'm just
So-
gonna do the sort of walking downstairs backwards thing.
Yeah, so say we all. I mean,
I-
it's
Bookshelf right there. It's on that shelf. I also have the original Essential Systems Administration by Aileen Frisch over there,
Nice.
and the Unix Systems Administrators Handbook
Mm.
by Evie Nemeth, Trent Hine et al. I forget the other two folks on the title or on the cover. I'm sorry. It's been in a pile over there for like 2 years since I moved into this office.
But that, I
Um,
mean, you come from the time of books being an actual thing you held in your hand and you highlighted and been like, oh, I've got to
and
remember
the
this.
sticky notes
Oh,
and the
yeah.
sticky note bookmarks
Oh,
and
I miss
and,
that time.
learning
Here
a
it
new
is.
scripting language by having the book in your lap while you're coding.
I have a
great.
closure book up there somewhere.
I've never
that
written a
purple one.
regex anything like this.
Wow. That's
I-
just,
See, I think that I am really uncharacteristically good at regex because I have never read a regex book. And I've compiled Perl about 700 times.
Math checks out.
And what about last week?
Yeah. Um, No.
700 times on 15 different platforms concurrently.
Yeah,
not concurrently, only 4 concurrently. I wish that was a joke. That would be a lot funnier if it was a joke.
That's the joke.
Right.
that is true.
Well, and as soon as I get the indie up and running, it'll be another one. So that'll be cool.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I miss my indie.
I never had one.
When I moved from Florida to California, I got rid of like 90% of my stuff because I was paying for that move. And it turns out that O2s and Indies and Indigos and Onyx 2s are heavy.
Very. I had a mutual friend of ours sent the Indie along with the original monitor and like original everything.
Oh,
That's
sweet.
amazing.
So you
So
even have all the SGI cables.
Yes, all of the original SGI cables, original SGI keyboard here, all original stuff, and
Sweet.
it was the shipping on it from where this person lives was something on the realm of like $220.
Yeah.
And they sold it to me for like 300. Which I'm
Yeah.
like, that's cool. I
Yeah.
couldn't find anywhere closer to get one, and I really wanted one.
Yeah.
Plus, it's fully kitted out, and it's the later models. So
it's got what,
Wow.
32 megs of memory and
the 450 megahertz processor, and the extra like graphics slot thing. So
The oldest thing that I own as far as computing devices go is an old home theater computer that I built in 2005. It's in the basement in the old case. It's actually a pretty slick case because it was a desktop, so it was made to look like a piece of hi-fi, like home theater equipment.
Oh, neat.
But
Nice.
it has been moved and sat in a garage and sat in a basement and sat in a garage for like the last 7 or 8 years. I don't think I think I took everything out of it that would make it actually functionally work.
I think the oldest thing I have left right now is a Newton, a Palm 5,
Palm 5. Oh my goodness.
with a nice aluminum case.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. One sec.
I had a handspring visor floating around in my pile of old office.
I had this.
Things.
Let me turn the blur off.
I had a Sony Clie for about 3 months.
What is
Wow.
that?
This is a CPM
Wow.
coprocessor card for an Apple II that is new in shrink wrap, no less.
wow.
That's
It's like
amazing.
it's like an action figure in the plastic
Oh.
bubble
In the
that's
blister
never
pack.
been in the blister pack
Nice.
that's never been opened.
Yeah. I have Anakin and Darth Maul from Phantom Menace still in the blister packs, hanging downstairs in the basement.
Nice. So 25 cents and maybe 50 cents.
No, there's a gaming store that has collectibles, and they have them on the shelf for $25.
Not bad.
I got these back in the dark ages when I was consulting because I was consulting for a small business, and long story short, they owed me money, and I was I was looking for a breaker box, and I found this shelf with like all this ancient computer shit on it. And I actually at one point had 2 of these CPM new in box. But then I ran into somebody who actually had an Apple III that they desperately wanted CPM. When they saw that I had it, they were like, "Oh, I'll pay." And I was like, "Okay, you're going to actually use it. You can have it." Because I was like, it should live someplace where it's going to be cherished.
Absolutely.
Like when I left Mountain View, I had actually taken some of my computer gear with me to California. I took my Nex Cube. I had everything for a Nex Cube except for the Octopus cable. I had an Osborne with the manuals, and I had an Apple III. I brought one of my O2s, and I can't remember what other crap that I had. But when we were moving to Denver, it was like, oh, we're paying for shipping this, and I haven't used any of it. And I actually contacted the Computer History Museum to see if they wanted any of it. But of course, they were like, "This is the Valley. That shit might be rare someplace else, but here we've got we have a whole warehouse full of them." But I put them on Craigslist, and with the condition that, like, okay, I don't actually want money. You just have to tell me what you're going to use it for, because I don't want him going in the dumpster.
Yeah. $1. Just tell me why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Prove that you're going to treat it properly.
Yeah.
I got my 30-minute call. I got to go, guys.
I got to
All right.
run. I'll be back in 5.
Dang.
All right, cool.
I
I've
was
got
gonna
to
ask-
stand up.
I had a question for JJ as well.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
It's not like we don't have 5 ways to communicate with our internet friends.
This is true. This is true. But it would have been useful to have the
Higher bandwidth.
yes, and the video, because I was going to ask him what form of microphone stand he has, because I have
Oh,
a very nice microphone that I
Uh-huh.
would love to use that is not like this,
yeah.
but it kind of gets in the way of things. And he appeared to have what looked like a very nice, like, sort of drop mic with an angle, which I'm sure I could Google something, but I'm always curious when I see what people have and their
Yeah.
setups, and if it's set up more like a podcasting setup or a day-to-day driver setup, as they say, because
Yeah, my setup is I have this arm that I got at Guitar Center.
mhm,
It's like I think it was like $25.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's fully articulating whatever, like,
articulating stuff.
and it like rotates. I could put it up here. I could like twist it around, but I've actually I do have to be careful because my desk,
Mhm,
the underside has an angled, rather than the edge being flat, it's
mm,
angled, it's beveled, I guess.
mhm.
So the clamp doesn't stay on. And one night I was awoken by a very loud thunk as the
I see.
entire thing collapsed onto my keyboard.
So it actually has like a
Yeah.
vice grip type thing on the
Yeah, and it has this that I could like
Mount
screw
it.
in,
Mhm,
but I'd need to have like screws like this long in order to use
Right.
it because of the
yeah,
thickness of the desk.
yeah. My IKEA desk is like this thick, so
Oh yeah,
probably would work better for that.
we have an IKEA desk that my son's computer is at, but it's like maybe a 3/4 inch.
Yeah, mine might actually be that same.
Yeah,
I mean, they only have like 4 desks and then 50 different models of attachments for it.
correct.
Although I do actually love this desk. This desk was wonderful desk. It's
Mhm.
the sort of cornery desk,
Oh yeah.
with the sort of rounded on the front, but
Mhm.
cornery in the back, and very,
Yeah.
very handy, very nice.
This desk is actually a depreciated asset that Chef sent and then did not want back.
Excellent.
When I left. This is actually, I think it's the same model that were in the Chef offices in Seattle with a slightly different tabletop. Because I requested a standing desk and I was like, I'll just go to IKEA and get one and expense it. And my manager says, no, you have to buy the one that we use in the office. I'm like, why? He says, because reasons. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Reasons are the best reason, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been dealing with a slight monitor situation, which you may have noticed. I have a
Yeah.
monitor here.
Yeah.
I have a monitor here, and then this is a monitor here.
Yes.
And then my wife's computer and my computer in the other room, our gaming machines, also have monitors. One of them being a brand new monitor because this monitor did not work. This monitor, the HDMI 2 doesn't work. This monitor, the display port doesn't work. And so like getting the right connections and things together like has been a little bit of a chore, but I think we found an equilibrium.
Okay. Yeah, this monitor is it was actually sent to me by Sim, and when I left there, they said, "No, we don't want you can just keep that. Here you go."
Yeah.
But it has its own stand that it's sitting on, that or not stand desk mounting bit, with its own, like, it goes up and down and like can move around on a little arm thing. And then I have a separate one over here that's on, I think it's on an uplift one that came with my wife's desk, but she didn't like the color, so they sent her another one. They didn't ask for that one back.
Yeah.
Hey, Donald.
Hey there, how's it going?
Going all right. You appear to have a plethora of scenery behind you.
Yeah, this is where I store my D&D stuff.
Hell yeah.
My
Yeah,
office slash storage space. This is actually a storage shed in my backyard that I remodeled and got insulated.
Cool.
Painted. So the idea is that if I'm going to be working remotely, I want there to be a separate space. It needs to be away from the house. First of all, so that I associate the space with working and not play. And secondly, if there's dogs barking or kids yelling, I don't want to hear that stuff. I'm going to be isolated. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a bedroom on the main floor, and then my gaming stuff is all in the living room on the other side of that wall.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I've worked from home for 13 years, 14 years, whenever. Wow. Yeah, I was always remote with Chef, so didn't always have a separate office, and that was sometimes a problem, but fortunately have that here.
Yeah, I don't have quite the isolation, I guess you could say, that you have, Donald, but I do have, like, our living room is around two corners, and then this is a little like office nook kind of area. So I can kind of be in the corner, and the hallway's kind of over there, as you can see. So it's very nice to be able to turn off the lights back here, and this just becomes a dark corner that we kind of can ignore a little bit. So
the only tricky part for me is the temperature regulation. So it's not connected to the house's AC unit. So I have an air conditioner, and then I have a space heater, which is really effective, but I have to manually adjust them based on the outside temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, your mic is really hot, by the way, Donald.
Okay, I have to adjust that.
Just as an FYI.
That's true.
But yeah, this little pocket back here gets very, very warm with the computers and monitors and stuff like that. So it's it's very
I have a ceiling fan, but it's an old crappy ceiling fan that I believe is mounted over the top of a receptacle for a light that has a switch on the outside wall, I believe. But the previous owners were not very good at anything relating to home ownership. So there's a cable that runs over the ceiling and then down and plugs into the wall.
Is this any better?
That is better.
Okay, cool. I had some struggles with Linux and Zoom over the last few months. I just intermittently not work. And eventually I just went and upgraded everything, and
then now it magically works.
I must have tried to up the microphone volume to make it work at some point, and that was not it.
I have a team member who is also using Linux, and making fun of him about Zoom problems is a company pastime.
Yep.
The one thing, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is the part where I I believe I am technically obligated to make a Pulse Audio joke. which I don't know if you're on Twitter at all, Donald, but I don't know if you saw Joshua, but I made a Pulse Audio joke a couple of, I don't know, a month or 3 ago. Hey, Jeremy. It got picked up and became very contentious, and then it turned into like people were talking about ESD, which I believe is the older sound drivers, and then I want to say that like the originator of Pulse Audio like hopped in the thread and started talking about stuff. And I was and at that, like I had stepped away for a while, and people just were going at it, so I ended up just like saying, well, I was just kidding, so like this was a lighthearted jest. I think they're all fine, whatever you choose to use is cool. I'll be over here. And then I like muted the thread and just sort of.
I mean, I'm of a Linux user era where I remember having to pick which correct Sound Blaster model I had to compile the sound support into my kernel. And it had to be compiled into the kernel because it wasn't available as a module yet.
What's a kernel module?
I think what fixed Zoom for me for Linux was there's a checkbox where you tell Zoom to stop adjusting your audio dynamically.
Oh, okay.
And I think once I checked that, it stopped messing with stuff.
Yeah, I'm blissfully ignorant of all of that, as I've been on a Mac for work for ages. But sometimes every now and then I'm like, I kind of want to fire up Linux and use it as a daily machine. And then I hear about this kind of Zoom thing. I'm like, you know what? I don't have that kind of hassle in my life. And
that's why I have my. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Macs are nice.
They're also expensive, so if your company pays for it, then.
But I have a pet peeve when it comes to Macs and sound, and it's not as bad as trying to debug ALSA or Pulse or whatever the frick sound drivers there are these days, or compiling into the kernel in the good old days. But Mac's unwillingness to let you adjust the audio level if you're plugged in to an HDMI or basically anything that takes sound over a monitor cable is just fucking infuriating. And so I've had to get, not probably quite to the depth of Linux fuckery, but there are workarounds that you can do with there's one called Proxy Audio Device, which I use, which like I can actually use my keyboard volume to adjust my volume, and it's magical, like almost like that's how it was designed, except
right,
it's external audio.
What do you know? So
I've sorry, go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, so what like kind of devices are you actually plugging, like outputting to?
In this.
Okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, I do it to my TV, which like I have a remote for the TV, so it's not a big deal. But monitor totally makes sense. Yeah.
And like TV, like that makes sense, right? Like who's adjusting their Mac volume via, if you have it plugged into a TV?
Yeah, I close my Mac when I have the TV on.
Well, what's the bigger use case? Mac plugged into an external monitor or Mac plugged into a TV? Like, maybe let me adjust the fucking volume. It's plugged into an external
My
monitor.
pet peeve with monitors that have sound stuff, because that's all of them nowadays, is when an OS update happens, and then for some reason the monitor turns that back, because I disable that, right? I have headphones here, I have headphones on, and a external, like a nice external speaker on my gaming computer. I don't want to use the monitor for sound ever. And then sometimes an OS update, it's like, okay, now we're going to play all of your sound through the monitor, and it's all going to be max volume. I'm like, nobody asked for this. I specifically disabled this, and I went to the monitor and did it in the hardware there. Why? How are you?
That is one thing that I do like about, like, sorry to cut you off, Jeremy. PCs is you can just go straight up disable that shit in the BIOS and be like, nope, not a thing.
You'd
So
think
I,
that.
I wanted to stress that I don't use the monitors, speakers, or anything, but like ones that have audio output. So I plug my nice clip speakers to the monitor, and that just means that there's one less thing for me to plug in.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter if I have multiple computers. It's like, cool, which input is being used? That's the one that has sounds, right? It reduces so much fiery and wuckering, wiring and fuckery.
Yes.
That it's yeah, it's just one of those, like, I walk into my room and, well, once upon a time I had one of those nice bridge docks and I could just like set my Mac into it, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
haven't come up with they haven't come up with ones that fit the new Macs, but still one cable done, and it's glorious.
Yeah, I'm not quite at that level of wire reduction, but I also have two external monitors, and one of them is old enough that it doesn't have USB-C to go USB-C into the Mac. I've seen that kind of setup, and then there's like power over USB-C and all that, and yeah, it doesn't exist for my environment here.
My I want to say that half of my monitors don't have USB-C, and the other those that don't have USB-C have HDMI. Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, I think this monitor has VGA, the one over
Ooh.
there.
Yeah.
Josh, it's time to upgrade, buddy.
It has DisplayPort as well,
Okay.
and
That's
HDMI
really strange.
and a DVI. I have to look at it. I might be thinking of the predecessor to this one. This was one that Chef sent me like 5 or 6 years ago or something. Still works great.
See, I have what has ended up working out for me in terms of like monitors and things, because like I have my two laptops, which are, try and make this so I'm not like
Yeah, I
making
see you're
everyone
actually
dizzy.
an expert.
Yeah, so I have those two laptops, and what I have is a very, very short cord on my
On your webcam.
webcam, yeah. But I have this for my work laptop, which I
Oh,
then
yeah.
plug in to, I plug my USB into my thing here, which plugs into my USB, you know, powered hub, which
Mhm.
has like all the things that are in my desk.
Yeah.
But and it also has the HDMI. I just leave that plugged in. But if I'm
Mhm.
using my PC, not PC, my home computer, which I am right now, I just plug the USB in here, and I plug the like what you call it,
MagSafe power.
HDMI,
Yeah,
what you
that
can
one.
call it, mini HDMI into there, and it's basically just two replugs, two swaps, which like that's after fucking around with like 3 different docks and like different
Yeah.
swapperoos and getting monitors to, I'm like, this is fine.
Yeah.
And then if I really need that second monitor, I'll go through the specialness of getting that hooked up, but I don't usually use the second monitor. So
nothing will be ever, I don't think anything will be as glorious as the IBM ThinkPad, because I would take my IBM ThinkPad and I would just set it on the dock and it would clip in, and then boom, everything that I had attached to it at work just worked. It was plugged into the token ring. Yes, it was token ring. It was plugged into the external monitor.
Tell me you're old.
So
tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Well, this was in 2005. The office we were in. The office we were in was
HangOps,
token
buddy.
ring over Ethernet. It was an old data center for mainframes. And then we literally sat on the raised floor.
Not Ethernet over token ring, but token ring over Ethernet.
Yeah, we plugged token ring into our laptops, and the token ring on the other end went into an Ethernet hub. It was because it was wired into with the rest of the building. They had upgraded that section of the building in stages. And then eventually, right before we moved from that office to an upstairs location, they upgraded that to all Ethernet in that room.
This makes
And then
sense.
we moved to another office, another floor in the same building.
Wow.
I have one question. Did you? Oh no, this was when you were at that one of the 3-letter acronym companies, wasn't it?
That was IBM.
Yeah. So you would not, I hope, have had not NetWare going on with all of that setup.
No, we didn't do any NetWare, but we were all Solaris administrators. So we also, in addition to our ThinkPads, which were largely there to just run Lotus Notes, then we did all of our actual work on most everybody had an Ultra 5. A couple people had Ultra 20s. And then in the room, we had an E450 that was the departmental server.
When I started working IT in 2004, it was all HPUX and AIX at Walmart.
We did eventually do like this weird reorg, and I wound up being an AIX admin, in addition to Linux and Solaris on occasion.
Some weird differences. Like I want to say the file system mounts on AIX was like some weird large file with really weirdly formatted.
Yeah, and journaling versus non-journaling.
AIX's file systems were my favorite thing about the whole OS. LVM was a magical Christmas land of everything I wish that Solaris had, but you had to get through Veritas Volume Manager.
You're making me twitch with some of these terms.
Hell yeah! This is the kind of garbage I keep in my head instead of like that. I need to take the recycling out next week.
This is taking up space in your brain, and you don't need it anymore.
No, I haven't needed it in more than 15 years.
I was just thinking, like, yeah, this may, and this is no reflection on you, fine folks, because you're awesome, but
yes.
this may be a good example of why there are few younger folk and non-white men who join HangOps just in general, because these things are through no fault of our own. I think it's just they end up sometimes devolving into. Do you remember that thing that we dealt with 25 years ago? Yeah, I do too.
That's probably always been true in any profession of a group of older people.
Yeah. Just suddenly had that observation where I was like, yeah, we're talking about AIX. Very few people who are getting into, JavaScript or front end development, or up and coming folks in early career folks are gonna care at all.
But that's true of anything. Like in IT, there's just so many different things that you can't possibly know. I used to sit when I worked at Walmart, next to a front end developer, and he was very smart, and he thought fast, and he talked fast, and he talked to me about JavaScript frameworks all day. And the only thing JavaScript that I had done was Bootstrap, like Bootstrap and Java servlets is all I knew. And I never knew what he was saying.
The only JavaScript I've actually written that has done anything more complicated than iterating over an array is I wrote some Google script stuff, because that's technically JavaScript, in order to power a spreadsheet for tracking magic cards, because that's the kind of nerd I am. It's the only JavaScript I've done anything with.
I started playing Magic again. I used to play it in the 90s, and it seems like they've finally written a computer program that actually looks and plays nice.
Oh, the Arena?
Yeah, Arena is really fun, although expensive. It's totally play to win, and oh my god.
Yeah, it is very much a no economy in it. I would, if I'm going to spend a lot of money on Magic, I'm going to buy actual cards.
I got a big tub of cards in my garage.
You can just
And
send
I-
them to me. I'll take care of them for you.
I don't know what to do with them
They
because
send
if I
them to
call a card shop and I'm like, can you want to buy these? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll pay 20% of what they're worth. I'm like, you know what? I'll just keep them forever. How about that?
Yeah.
I started scanning them. There's apps now on your phone where you
Mhm.
can just scan a card and it'll be like, this card is worth $50. This card is worth 25 cents. And I was like, this is awesome. I have so much stuff. I started scanning it. And after about
Mhm.
5 hours, I just lost the will to live and I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The market is really bad if you're trying to sell as an individual. Like it's worth $50. You will not get $50 out of that card unless you wait like 6 years and the price goes up to 100.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott. I see what you're doing there. Taunting me.
You want a wall of pine needles?
Oh, wow.
Uh,
I don't think that's worth much, is it?
it's from
That's
Ice
my
Age.
Ice Age.
Yeah, I'm sure it's worth nothing.
Correct.
Yeah.
I started playing during Revised in 1994. And
Same.
the best. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
Dwarven Stronghold. Or Dwarven
Spring.
Ruins.
I think the most valuable thing I have are a bunch of dual lands, which are.
Those are very, very valuable.
But I
Really?
played the shit out of those cards in there. You can
Oh, yeah.
tell. They have
yeah.
like white stuff all around the edges. And
Mhm.
I-
Yeah.
I just have this is the remains of my magic cards. Like this is it. So
Yeah.
I have definitely traded a number of them away for things that I thought I liked more.
Yeah. I bought a motorcycle. That's kind of good, right?
from money you got from magic cards.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it wasn't that much like return on, like I just had spent a bunch of money on magic cards. And so when I sold them, like a couple of years later, they were worth slightly more. So
It was a very small motorcycle. It was a model.
no, it was a 2003 brand new SV650. It was a fun bike.
Those are words and
You know,
letters.
it's a street, not race bike, but people do race them.
So how's Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy. Sorry.
So I still have a couple of boxes of magic cards that I have moved probably 20 times now since I've actually used them, but they're probably revised. But like last time I would have played would have been like 94.
They're probably worth a lot.
Just send them to me.
I was really surprised how much my cards were worth.
Yeah.
I can't believe the game's still going. Like I thought it was going to die
Right?
in 5
They-
years.
There's a new set coming out this Friday.
Wow.
Yeah. It's returning
Maybe-
to a plane that they introduced 18 years ago or something. So
See,
yeah.
I stopped
Comes full
playing
circle.
like way before there was a story. That's like
Yeah.
that's where yeah. And then my partner and I went to PAX like I don't know, we used to go to PAX when it was not like 40,000 people.
Mhm.
And one of the like swag gift things that they gave you was like a planeswalker deck or something like that, which
Yep.
is like a pre-made for this one per person thing.
Yep.
I don't know. And so I taught her how to play Magic. And we played with just those decks for a little bit, and that was fun.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, I don't think I would get back into this. So I have a couple of those like decks that I would be
Yeah.
like, oh, you want to do a thing with the thing? Yeah.
Yeah. You all played when there wasn't a format. Like the format was you played with whatever you had. Now there's like 15 different formats, most of which aren't like by Wizards of the Coast, but there's a few that are.
I need a stick to shake where I can be like, I remember
Mhm.
in the days where you were allowed to have more than 4 of the same card in your deck.
All ATOGs, line of
Yeah.
ATOGs. That's it.
Or ornithopters. The
All
60
ATOGs
60
and
ornithopters.
lightning bolts and blue mana. Just
Well,
That
I got
wouldn't do you
into
much good because you need red mana for lightning bolt.
Or I'm
I
sorry,
got
Red
into
Mammy.
D&D
Yeah.
and Magic because I needed to de-stress because the job I was in at the time, Walmart, was like so incredibly stressful. I just was like, I need someplace to channel this energy.
Totally. Yeah. I was unable to join friends on a happy hour last night because I was off playing Magic at a card store.
It's okay.
Like-
It was a very subdued happy hour that we finished up at like 6
Oh, okay.
my time. That is.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I'd
yeah.
probably played 4 or 5 games by that point.
As I mentioned, it was I was and this is way less of a downer than it actually is, but I was going through boxes of my dead father's things while I was while we were hanging out and chilling because
And you found some cool stuff.
I did find some cool stuff. Yeah, some
Power
very
tools,
old,
camo.
yeah, a lot of camo, a lot of yeah, some power tools, some hats. This is it was 2 of the plastic bags, the big like bags of stuff. I still have 3 more of those, and then 2 of those like road cases type things.
Oh yeah, the big
the big
plasticky
big
boxes.
plasticky, yeah. Or
With
3
the foam inserts.
3 of those, yeah, to go through, and then 4 toolboxes.
Well, it's a lot of stuff. I'm gonna have to do that soon too.
Yeah. All of my father's tools, my dad passed away in the early 90s. All his tools are still in my mom's garage because she's just not even going to deal with any of that. We visited her last summer, and yeah, I took some recycling out to the garage, and yeah, the shelves still had like things I remember from my childhood were still on the shelves.
Wow.
And they're covered in like a very thick layer of dust.
Yeah. There was a hat collection that I have not dug into yet, with baseball caps, fedoras, cowboy hats,
A variety.
yeah, and they were all on display on one of those like wide hat rack kind of things, and just sitting there for years while he was retired and just sort of sat in this room and like chain smoked. So there is
The hats all have chain smoke residue.
everything that they took out of it has like is basically just infused with cigarette and weed smoke, just completely. It's
Golly.
yeah, we're off gassing like part of the stuff in our second bathroom, just fans on, leave it there before we can
parents of an era where smoking was
with it.
not known to be harmful, apparently.
I will also tell you that while I was doing it, was definitely gloved up.
Yeah, totally.
Because I was like, I don't have enough soap to wash this off of my hands.
Yeah, totally. Well, friends, it is time. Thank you all for joining. We'll see you next time on the Hanging.
Lovely to see